whether it launches on our property, Kennedy Space Center property, or on the Space Force property at Cape Canaveral. We provide all kinds of services, whether it's our propellant services or standing up our EOC. And so if you think about that, 53 launches, that's about
fantastic
one a week.
Year.
One a week.
Thank you, Janet, so much for
Thank
that
you all.
anniversary. Now, there is a growing community of scientists eager to use SWOT data. Let's go to Jasmine live at the Hawk's Nest to meet one of them.
Yes, Raquel, that is right. I'm here with somebody who is also eager to get his hands on that SWOT data. Toby Minear with the Series Group from CU Boulder in Colorado. Welcome, Toby.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
We are so glad to have you here. You are a research hydrologist with that group. So can you tell me, what are some of the applications of SWOT?
Well, SWOT is amazing because it has this really unique capability of measuring water levels over a big area. And so for people that are water managers in particular, there's a lot of excitement there because we really don't have this kind of capability at present. We have to do these things from the field, individual point measurements and things like that that are very hard to make in the field. And so we have a lot of interest from people that are like municipal water agencies, state agencies for dam safety, federal agencies, all really interested in getting their hands on some water level data in particular and storage change. So it'd be very exciting to see it.
It is very exciting, and really what I hear you saying is that SWOT is changing the game. So what are some of those specific applications, maybe agriculture or flood zones? How is it changing our lives in our own backyard?
Yeah, well, so a few things that it will change are, so for example, flood risk. We really don't have a good sense of where flooding occurs and when and why, so how much water requires flooding to occur. So for example, a good place for that is on the coast. We don't really have very many gauges along the coast at the freshwater and saltwater interface. And so, yeah, I think we'll see a lot of changes there, a lot of changes inland for lakes and wetlands too.
Wow, that's really exciting. And I understand, Toby, you're also in this group called the Early Adopters. What is that and who's in that?
Yeah, so the Early Adopters group is about 25 different organizations. They come from all over the world. And these are people that are interested in SWOT data. They've heard sort of through the grapevine that there's some data coming out for water level data. And these are agencies that are non-governmental organizations. They're governmental organizations ranging from city level water agencies up to federal agencies. So a lot of excitement there from the water community.
Right, very exciting. Toby, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
Raquel, back to you.
Thank you so much. This will be the last launch for NASA's Associate Administrator for the Science Mission Directorate, Thomas Zurbuchen. During Thomas's 6 years in the role, he has overseen nearly 100 science missions, including SWOT, DART, the Double Asteroid Redirection Test, the Mars 2020 mission, and the James Webb Telescope. He also co-authored and authored more than 200 articles and received many agency awards. Congratulations, Thomas.
Congratulations, Thomas. Yes, Thomas will be missed. He is known for his energy, dedication, and scientific curiosity. When I was doing my first lunch with him, Sentinel-6, Mike Friley, he was very supportive. So yeah, Thomas will be missed. But congratulations, enjoy, well deserved.
Absolutely, enjoy that. The president of France's space agency, CNES, Philippe Baptiste, sent us this message about today's launch.
The result of NASA and CNES historic partnership in oceanography that all started more than 30 years ago with TOPEX Poseidon is really essential. And I am very proud to send you this message and to be with you, at least in spirit, for this launch. I want to say once again a few words how proud CNES and its team are to be involved in this ambitious international adventure alongside NASA. SWOT is the first space mission to survey the planet's freshwater resources on a global scale. The water elevation of lakes and water courses, the discharge of rivers, and the fine dynamics of the oceans are all vital data that are going to help us better adapt to climate change. In this respect, SWOT truly marks a revolution for space hydrology, and we are proud to be embarking on this endeavor with the French community of scientists, of users, and of course with our industry. I wish you a successful launch, and go SWOT, go!
Go SWOT! Climate change is a topic front and center for everyone, including NASA. Joining us now is NASA's Sandra Conley. Thank you for joining us, Sandra.
Thank you for having me.
Now, as a leader in science, what does it mean to be part of this mission?
Oh man, this is such an exciting mission. You know, it's unprecedented in many ways. It's going to be the mission that for the first time ever, we're measuring surface water around the world. Freshwater sources, saltwater sources, how they ebb and flow and move in between each other, how the energy is transferred across those water bodies, and also with the environment. It's really going to help us improve our weather forecasting ability and our climate prediction abilities.
It's a real trailblazer. Now, SWOT is a joint mission between NASA and CNES. Climate change knows no boundaries, so why is it important for a mission to be an international collaboration?
So, science knows no boundaries, right? So our scientists are from all around the world, and this partnership with CNES is tremendously important. It spans over 30 years on ocean altimetry missions, and that's not even counting other partnerships that we have with CNES to achieve our science. So we're looking forward to many, many more missions together with them.
Well, Sandra, as you know, SWOT is the first science team that fully complies with open science requirement. Can you tell us more about NASA's open science paradigm and how do we kick off the year of open science with SWOT?
You know, that's a great question. So our space satellites give us a really unique vantage point to observe the Earth, right? So we're able to look at it as a global system, right? And the data that we've collected through our satellites over the 50 years allow us to really look at the ground, the atmosphere, and the oceans. And what open science and open data is going to enable us to do is to take that to the next level and give it to the individual user, whether they're decision makers at the local level, at the regional level, or even tribal communities. It's to give that information to people so that they can make informed decisions regardless of their business. You don't need to actually be a scientist or an engineer moving forward to be able to leverage this data and apply it to your day-to-day business.
Looking forward to the data. Thank you so much, Sandra.
Thank you.
Now, let's head over to our commentators. We are T-minus 7 minutes. Our launch of the Falcon 9 rocket from Vandenberg Space Force Base. Megan and Denton will navigate us through that terminal count.
Yeah, just under 8 minutes to liftoff, and we are looking fantastic for launch. Weather is a go. No collision concerns on the range for our instantaneous opportunity to launch at 3:46 and 47 seconds Pacific time. We see a live shot of the Falcon 9 sitting on Launch Pad 4 East here at Vandenberg Space Force Base. This reusable two-stage rocket standing about 230 feet tall. The first stage is the bottom two-thirds of what you see there. That's called the booster. And then at the right over that, you see this black piece there. That's the interstage adapter, which connects the first and second stage. And then at the very top, the payload fairing. And you see SWOT painted on there. SWOT is tucked safely inside of it, folded up to about the size of a mid-size car.
Engine chill. And we just heard the call out first for stage 1 engine shield, and basically what that is just the getting the engine ready for the flow of the colder temperatures. So it's kind of like if you imagine if you were to jump in a really cold pool and you know your muscles tense up and everything else, and we don't necessarily want that with the engine. So we slowly start to bleed in those liquid oxygen to kind of bring it down to the temperature that it'll be seeing during flight. So that's really what that is. It's really preserving the stress on the engines, and it's getting ready for flight.
Yeah, that was a great analogy.
So,
yeah, you made me cold thinking about it. So we see some of that liquid oxygen venting off now, both the first and second stages, right?
Yeah, and you're seeing that because the booster is very, very cold because that liquid oxygen is inside there. And soon you hear the call out for stage 1 RPO leaks. They're wrapping up fueling of the stage. Of the stage 1 right now, and so we should hear that call out here in a few seconds.
Stage 1 LOX load is complete.
And so SpaceX is also loading helium
Stage
gas
1 fuel load, correction.
into both stages, and
will continue to top off until about a minute and a half before launch. Falcon 9 uses helium as a pressurant, meaning it uses helium to maintain pressure in the tanks as liquid oxygen and RP1 are consumed by the engines during ascent. The first stage has 9 Merlin engines, hence the name Falcon 9. The second stage has a single Merlin vacuum or MVAC engine, so you'll often hear references to MVAC throughout the count.
Yeah.
Next call out will come in just a couple of seconds. You'll hear that the spacecraft is on internal power and configured for a launch. That just means that the spacecraft is now running on batteries versus getting power from the strong back you see there.
Tanks are pressing for strong back retract.
And the strong back is getting ready to retract. The strong back is that mechanical structure you see just to the right of the vehicle. And they're just pressing up the tanks and getting ready for that. You'll see it tilt back slightly initially, and then when we get closer to launch, you will see it tilt about 45 degrees back. Get out of the way so, the Falcon 9 can clear the pad with no issues.
And that tilt starts when you see that cradle. It's kind of like a hug around.
Yeah.
Just at the base of the payload fairing veil, you'll see those arms start to open, and that will allow for the strong back to start tilting backwards.
Yeah, that is correct. And you can see from the video, you can see that cradle's opening up. And then you'll see a few seconds after that's completed, the strong back will tilt back slightly.
And now we're going to pause for an upcoming poll here.
NLM on countdown 1. NLM copies.
NLM is the launch manager for this mission, NASA's launch manager for this mission. Again, we see that strong back retracting, and you see those connections between the strong back and the rocket. Those are umbilicals, and that's what continues to feed the rocket with liquid, electricity, gases, right up until launch, right?
That is correct. And what we're waiting to hear right now is just the SpaceX team confirming with the NASA launch manager that the team is ready to go. And so
LD, NLM, countdown 1. LD, go ahead. NASA is go for SWOT launch.
There you go. Perfect news.
Stage
NASA's
1 launch
go
load
for
complete. Stage 1 POGO.
Yep, and you heard the team is all good to go. And so right now, stage 1 LOX load is complete. At this point in time, the stage 1 is completely filled with fuel. We're just waiting for them to top off the stage 2 tank.
And today we're going to be treated to some sonic booms since the booster will land right back here at Vandenberg Space Force Base, just about 1,000 feet from where it's going to launch.
Yes, which is always exciting to see. I mean, it's just so fascinating that the booster is going to land basically just very close to where it took off from.
Yeah, that's going to be great. And as you said, again, because visibility is so great, we won't just see the launch. We're also going to see that booster coming back to land.
Yeah, and it's taking everything I have to stay inside and not go outside and see this with my own 2 eyes.
No, you have to sit in here with me. And in these last few minutes, Falcon 9 is performing final health checks on its primary communications, avionics, and propulsion systems in preparation for flight.
This is The Rock. Range is green.
And we just heard that call out that the range is good. And we should surely we should be hearing the call out for that stage 2 LOX load is complete. And then at that point, all of the propellants will be loaded onto the vehicle.
Stage 2 LOX load complete.
You just heard that call out. So all the propellants are done loading. And at this point in time, we're just gearing up for Falcon 9 to go into startup, which is basically the computer taking over and going through its last set of configurations and checks to make sure that we're good for launch leading into T0.
And remember how Denton was telling us earlier, we see the amount of liquid oxygen coming off of the rocket fluctuating throughout the count. Here, that's what we're seeing again to maintain that pressure, the correct pressure in both stages.
Yep, and what you're seeing right now is them venting the LOX that was in the umbilical tower. So it's venting that out, getting it all ready to go for launch.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
And we just heard that call up. Falcon 9 is in startup, which means the flight computer is taking over and is just preparing for its initial launch sequence.
And now both stages are pressurizing for launch. Next call out in just a couple of seconds.
Launch director, go for launch.
SpaceX launch director confirming go for launch. Range remains go, weather is go. This launch will mark the 100th first mission of NASA's Launch Services Program based at Kennedy Space Center.
15 seconds.
Here we go.
10.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engine ignition and liftoff. Liftoff of SWOT, our first global survey of Earth's surface water to study how this ever-changing resource affects our climate.
And there we get a nice view from the ground camera, and also we switch to the onboard camera.
Now, Denton, you didn't go outside to see the launch, but now we're feeling it inside here in the Mission Director Center, the rumble all around us from launch.
Absolutely. And now you're getting a good look at the onboard camera looking down towards the aft end of the rockets. You can see the Merlin engines coming to life there.
And this room coming to life, really. Lots of rumble going on in here. And we're soon going to hear that the rocket is supersonic, meaning it's going faster than the speed of sound, followed by Falcon 9 reaching what's called max Q, the moment of peak mechanic stress on the rocket.
We get nice views.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
Just heard a call out for supersonic. Getting a good shot of looking at the onboard cameras
Max
there.
Q.
We just stepped through max Q.
Next call-outs are going to come.
Engine chill.
And back engine chill, which means getting the second stage engine ready to start. And so which means we'll be coming up on stage separation shortly, followed by stage 2 ignition.
We see this beautiful shot of all of the Merlin engines, all 9 of them lit up.
That's what 1.7 million pounds of thrust look like.
Lots of thrust. So the next callouts are going to come in quick succession. So let me walk through them really quick. So at T plus 2 minutes and 15 seconds, we're going to have main engine cutoff. That's MECO, meaning the 9 Merlin engines on the first stage are going to shut down. And then a few seconds after that, stage 1 and 2 will separate. Stage 1 will do a flip and do a boost back burn to orient itself back towards Earth for that landing here at the Space Force base.
And there we get a good shot of looking at the interstage. Basically,
MECO.
the camera is looking up towards the second stage.
Separation confirmed.
And there you go.
Live video of stage 1 and 2 separating.
MVAC ignition.
And there's a good look at the
Stage
MVAC
one,
ignition
startup.
the MVAC engine coming to life.
That's great. You are seeing the stage 1 booster do its flip. And now the engine bell of the MVAC engine lit up.
This is a camera shot of stage 1 here, again on its way back to Earth. In just a couple of seconds, we're going to see the payload fairing jettison.
Fairing separation confirmed.
We just heard a call out for fairing separation, and there's a good onboard view of the SWOT spacecraft, and you can see the fairing is gone at this point in time.
Another camera shot here of the engine on the second stage continuing to carry SWOT to its intended target. We have a couple of camera views of this engine here, so you might see a couple of
Stage 1,
different
please back
angles.
shutdown.
Yeah, and then you'll see it cycling through the views of the stage 2 engine, and as we get closer to the separation, it'll go back towards the spacecraft.
And we just heard a call out for the boost back burn ending on
Both
stage 1.
stages are on nominal trajectories.
And that call out was just to say both stage 1 and stage 2 doing what they were expecting them to do.
And we're hoping to get a video of stage 1 landing. So sometimes we don't always get it because of it's coming in so fast, and sometimes it's hard to capture it. So occasionally, sometimes we don't get it all the way, but we're hoping to get a good video this time.
T plus 4 minutes and 10 seconds into the launch of SWOT, and we've had a nominal ascent so far, no issues to report. Again, this is a video of a live shot of the engine on stage 2. SWOT stands for Surface, Water, and Ocean Topography, and this will be the first mission to provide high-definition data on more than 90% of the water on our planet's surface. It's a joint mission between NASA and CNES, France's space agency, with contributions from both the Canadian and UK space agencies. SWOT is the 4th NASA LSP science mission to launch from Vandenberg Space Force Base, and the 6th LSP science mission overall to launch on a Falcon 9, Denton.
Yes, and we got a lot more missions coming up on the Falcon.
Yeah, to see the partnership really grow for you too. I mean, again, you really worked from SpaceX from the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely, and seeing their evolution over the years has been amazing to watch.
So coming up, we're going to see the booster begin its entry burn soon. And again, that entry burn is to slow it down as it approaches Earth for the landing here back at the base instead of a drone ship.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome to see it come back to land. Like, as I mentioned before, seeing it landing right very close to where it took off from is awesome.
So then how does this work? So again, we're going to have the entry burn that slows it down, and then there's a landing burn, right?
Yeah, so you have the boost back burn that kind of gets it back towards the launch pad, and then the entry burn kind of slows it down as it's coming into the atmosphere, and then you have the landing burn that basically puts it down gently on the pad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, SpaceX has become real pros at landing their boosters.
Absolutely. And it's becoming routine for them at this point in time, and so this is just a normal course of business for them.
Again, we are looking live at stage 2.
Stage 1 entry burn.
And we just heard the call out for stage 1 entry burn. Means it's coming back into the Earth's atmosphere. And there we go. We got a good video of it.
Yeah, so you can see those hypersonic grid fins illuminated by the flame from the booster.
Those STS is safe.
You see that the screen went black there. That's because they just shut down the engine.
That's correct.
Both stages are
As
on
planned.
trajectories.
But I was talking about those hypersonic grid fins that you see. Those help guide the Falcon 9 booster back down towards Earth. So now that we're done with the entry burn, the next burn is the landing burn. Mm-hmm. It's just one engine right just before it touches down.
Correctly. Just gently set it down on the pad.
The next milestone for the second stage is going to be
Stage 1 is transonic.
SECO 1.
Yeah, and SECO 1 is the first shutdown of the second stage engine. And for this mission, we're going to have 2 burns. So you'll see after stage 2 shuts down, it'll coast for a while. And then we got a good video of stage 1.
It's about to land. How exciting.
Coming in for its landing burn there.
Again, the grid fins moving ever so slightly to make sure that it's coming down exactly how they want it to come down.
Yep, and you could see the pad coming into view.
There it is. Wow,
and then the sonic booms. Trademark sonic booms.
Wow.
And good touchdown of the stage 1
touchdown. Perfect.
Stage 1 landing is confirmed.
So glad to see that live video. Again, sometimes we don't get it. That was amazing to see and feel, really.
Yes. See and feel, and we get to use this booster again.
Yeah. Again, this is the 6th flight of this booster.
That is right.
Okay, so we are still awaiting, again, that shutdown
Stage 2 FTS is saved.
Of the second, stage, yes. And when it does shut down, it's going to be over the Pacific Ocean, just west of the southern tip of Baja California. Again, exactly where we want it to be, following that well-thought-out planned trajectory.
Yep, and the team is reporting back. Everything's looking nominal. Stage 2, it's right where it's supposed to be, and looking good.
MVAC shutdown.
And we should see MVAC shutdown coming up here shortly. And there we go.
Yep, SECO 1.
Nominal parking orbit.
Confirmed. That's the trajectory you're seeing. It's flying south from where it just launched, and it'll continue to fly south down towards Antarctica. And so again, everything going as expected so far. The second stage is now going to coast for about 30 minutes. You can see that it is shut down there from that view. And this is a view of the spacecraft. Again, because the payload fairing has been jettisoned, you see SWOT right there on your screen. expose now that we don't need the payload fairing to
Correct.
safely get it out of the atmosphere.
Yeah, correct. And yeah, once the whole purpose of the fairing is to protect it while the vehicle is flying through the atmosphere at supersonic speeds. And then once you get up out of the atmosphere, there's nothing to harm the spacecraft, so you can jettison that extra weight and give your vehicle a lot more performance once you get rid of that extra weight.
Okay. The engine not glowing orange as it had before, because again, it is shut off, so it will coast for about 30 minutes with SWOT attached to it before some maneuvers are needed to keep it on the right trajectory, again, to get it in the orbit that we want it in. So Denton and I are going to be back then with you to walk you through those operations, but for now, we're going to send it back to Raquel and Nadia, who I'm sure are very excited to talk about how the experience launched today.
Whew, that is right, Megan and Denton. Just 10 minutes ago, we watched a spectacular launch from Vandenberg here in California. Nadia, describe what was going through your mind at that time.
What a spectacular, truly spectacular launch. It was a very bright splash in the sky, and a very loud one too. What an entrance. Welcome to the era of SWOT. Very excited.
I had some cheering going on here at the desk.
Yes, and the car went off, yes.
Yeah, we had car alarms going off. It was really exciting here for our view. Now, soon the SWOT satellite on board will separate from the spacecraft. SWOT stands for Surface, Water, and Ocean Topography. The satellite will survey nearly all the water on Earth's surface in unprecedented detail. SWOT will provide insights into how the ocean influences climate change, how a warming world affects lakes and rivers, and how communities can better prepare for disasters like floods. And we are covering every angle of the SWOT mission, from the new data the satellite will provide to how it is paving the way for future NASA Earth missions. Now, SWOT is a culmination of work by a global team of engineers, scientists, and technicians committed to improving our understanding of Earth. Let's get to know some of the people behind the mission.
Planning for future generations requires us understanding how much water we have.
And we need to understand the water cycle in a lot of detail, and SWOT will provide that for us. My name is Tahani Amar.
I'm Cedric David.
Mark Simard.
Christine Jabara, and I'm an integration test engineer at JPL.
I study the world's rivers.
I'm one of the principal investigators for SWOT.
SWOT is an Earth orbiting satellite. It stands for Surface, Water, Ocean Topography.
SWOT will, for the first time, make measurement of water surface elevation, not only on the ocean, but also on the lakes and rivers of the entire globe.
This in itself will be a sign.